Welcome back to the class, children. As mentioned in the previous video, we will go through the each step in detail. We will go ahead and first start with the preparation of soil. So, what role does soil plays for crop production, children? What does the soil provides to the crops? Right, the soil provides water and the nutrients required by the plants. And how do these plants obtain the nutrient and water from the soil? Through which part? That is through their roots, right? Roots are held in place by the soil. Soil microbes or the microorganisms that live in soil and or the other organisms such as earthworm, they help to increase the soil fertility. Thus, the soil plays a very important role in the production of crops. Now, preparation of soil requires two steps, that is ploughing and leveling. These are the two important steps that help in preparing the soil for the growth of the crops. Now, what do we understand by ploughing? That's the first step in the preparation of soil as well. So, any idea? या आपके अपने खुद के विलेज में अगर फार्मिंग होती होगी, आप लोगों ने कभी देखा है क्रॉप प्रोड्यूस करने के लिए व्हाट इज़ द फर्स्ट स्टेप, और इन द मूवीज यू वुड हैव वॉच व्हाट इज़ द फर्स्ट स्टेप्स दैट द फार्मर्स फॉलोड? दैट इज loosening and turning of the soil. Yes, and what is how it is being done? Using the plough. Yeah, so preparation of soil involves ploughing, which is the first step, and ploughing involves the loosening and turning of the soil. This is also called as tilling. Now, what is the advantage of loosening and turning of the soil? The first advantage of ploughing is it makes the soil loose, and now loose soil contains a lot of space, air space in it. This allows roots to breathe easily. Yes, soil अगर लूज हो जाएगी तो उसमें क्या है, उसके एयर स्पेस होती है. नाउ एयर स्पेस अच्छी रहेगी तो रूट क्या है, अच्छे से दे कैन रेस्पायर. Now, if the soil is loose, it will also be able to penetrate deep into the soil. अगर soil tight रहेगी तो soil की जो roots हैं वो अंदर soil के अंदर तक नहीं जा सकती. मगर अगर soil soft रहेगी और loose रहेगी तो क्या है, roots अंदर तक deep into the soil they can penetrate and can help the plant to stand firmly in the soil. Correct? This is the second advantage. Now, the third advantage of ploughing is that ploughing uproots the undesirable plants and kills them. Undesirable plants are basically weeds. Yes, the plants which are of not any good to us, like grass which grows on the soil. Children, do you know what do we call ploughing in Hindi? प्लफिंग इज़ बेसिकली हल चलाना, है ना. तो अगर हल चलता है सॉइल में तो क्या है, जो अनडिजायरेबल प्लांट्स हैं दैट आर नॉट रिक्वायर्ड दे आर बीइंग पुल्ड आउट. yes, that uproots the undesirable plants as well, so that the soil is available for the crops to be grown properly. Now अगर soil loose रहेगी so we can go ahead and add manure and fertilizers as well easily to the soil. Manure or fertilizers are basically material which are added to the soil to increase its fertility. Yes, और अगर लूज सॉइल रहेगी तो मैन्योर और खाद जिसे हम हिंदी में कहते हैं, मैन्योर इज बेसिकली खाद इन हिंदी. yes, so if the soil is loose it can easily mix up with the manure or fertilizer. Also, loose soil helps in the growth of earthworms. Earthworms, children, are also called as farmer's friend, right? Earthworm, if you remember your 6th class, earthworm are also called as farmer's friend. Now, why are they so called? Because they make the soil fertile. yes, now so जो loose soil होती है It helps in the growth of the earthworms and other useful microbes present in the soil. Thus, और लूज को सॉइल को हम लूज कैसे कर रहे हैं? बाय मीन्स ऑफ प्लफिंग. Yeah, so we are actually preparing the soil for the crop production. The last advantage of ploughing is that ploughing brings the nutrient-rich soil from the lower layer to the top and makes it easily available for plants to use. प्लफिंग से क्या होता है? सॉइल अप एंड डाउन होती है. सो नीचे की जो सॉइल है वो ऊपर आ जाती है. नीचे की सॉइल से ज़्यादा न्यूट्रिएंट्स यूज़ नहीं किए होंगे प्लांट्स जो पहले थे. सो the mixing of the soil happens and it brings up the more fertile soil on the upper layer. Thus, these are some of the advantages of ploughing. अब ploughing हम किससे करते हैं? हल से, right? It is called as plough. If the soil is very dry, we might need to water the soil before ploughing. Now, another method that is being used for the preparation of soil is leveling. The field after ploughing may still have some big pieces of soil that are dried up. They are called as crumbs. Now, it is necessary to break these crumbs with a plank. The field is leveled with the help of a leveler before sowing of the seeds, which is the next step. Yes, एक plank ले लिया जाता है. Basically, plank क्या होता है? एक ब्रॉड वुडन स्ट्रक्चर या फिर उसे आप आयरन का फट्टा भी जैसे होता है उसे वो हम कहते हैं प्लैंक. या सो उस प्लैंक से क्या किया जाता है? सॉइल को बीट किया जाता है सो दैट सॉइल बिकम्स लेवल्ड ऑन द फील्ड. सो दीज आर द स्टेप्स in the first agricultural practices, that is preparation of the soil. Now in this preparation of soil we have studied about ploughing and leveling. Now children, ploughing and leveling are being done using some tools. Now those tools are basically called as agricultural implements. Okay, so here, the agricultural implements that were used in ploughing was the plough, yes, which is in Hindi called as hal. A plough is used for ploughing the field. It is made up of wood or iron. Yes, I am sure हम सब ने plough देखा हुआ है. Earlier ploughs were driven by animals like bulls, horses or camels. But nowadays, tractors are used in place of animals. Now, what is the use of plough? It is used for tilling the soil. Tilling is basically loosening of the soil. It is also used for adding fertilizer to the field and removing the unwanted plants that are called as weeds. So, that's the use of plough, which play a very important role in crop production. The other agriculture implement that we'll study is hoe. A hoe consists of a long rod of wood or iron. A strong, broad and bent plate of iron is fixed to one of its ends. The bent plate acts as a knife. Now, hoe is used for loosening of the soil and the knife part acts as a knife for cutting off the weeds. The third agricultural implement that we have is cultivator. Cultivator is used in large fields and ploughing is done by cultivators driven by tractors. Using tractors saves labor and time. Yes, because earlier days the animals were used for pulling the plough. But nowadays, in place of animals, the cultivators are being used so that it can save the time and the labor for the farmer. Then we have the last agricultural implement, that is leveler. A leveler, as I mentioned earlier, is a large piece of wooden plank. It can also be driven by animals or a tractor. It is used for leveling the field before sowing the seeds. So these all agricultural implements are being used for preparation of soil. That was the first step in agricultural practices. Now the second step, that is next or that is after the preparation of soil, is sowing of seeds. What do we understand by sowing of seeds? अब हमारी soil तैयार हो गई है. What would be the next step? We need to go ahead and sow the seeds. हमें बीज अब soil में डालने पड़ेंगे. बीज बोना is in English sowing of seeds. Now once the soil is prepared, seeds are sown in it. The process of putting the seeds in the soil is called as sowing. Most of our crops like wheat, maize, bajra, jowar, they are grown by sowing seeds. Now sowing of seed as children are a very important step, because if your seeds are of good quality, the crop production would be good. However, if the quality of the seeds is not good, if the seeds are not healthy, the crops so produced will not be healthy and will not give good outcome. So selection of good quality and healthy seeds is very important before we go ahead and sow them. Before we go ahead and sow the seeds, there are certain things that we need to make sure. We need to make sure that the seeds are of good quality and healthy. That is, they should not be infected by the insects, and they should be free from the diseases. The seeds should be sown at the correct depth in the soil. The correct depth varies from crop to crop. If we sow the seeds deep in the soil, roots will not be able to respire. And if they are sown on the surface, the birds may feed on those seeds and will not allow them to grow properly. Right? So that's the reason we need to make sure that they are grown, or the seeds are sown at the correct depth in the soil. Next, the seeds should be sown at a proper distance from each other to prevent overcrowding of the plants, which allows plants to get enough water, nutrients and sunlight, which are very important for all the crops. If they don't get the right amount of water, nutrients and sunlight, the growth of the plant will not be, or growth of the crop will not be good. Yes, so these were certain things that we need to keep in mind before going ahead and sowing the seeds. Now, in some of the cases, children, like rice, tomato, onion and brinjal, they are not directly sown. Their seeds are not actually directly sown into the soil. Instead, they are first sown in a small area. This small area where the plants are grown are called as nursery. In a nursery, seeds are made to germinate into small plants that are called as seedlings. When they grow up, healthy seedlings are selected and then transferred or transplanted in a field manually. So this process is called as transplanting. Transplanting is the method of transferring a seedling from a nursery to a field. The reason or the advantages of doing transplanting is because it helps the farmer to select only the healthy seedling, so that the farmer is sure that the crop that will be produced out of the seed will be definitely healthy. Secondly, seedlings can be planted at proper distance. Also, the transplanting helps to increase the crop production, because transplanting confirms that a plant or the germinated seedling is healthy, so that will result in increased crop production. That's the reason it is preferred to transplant some of the crops. Now we will move on to the next topic, that is different methods of sowing seeds. Children, there are basically two main methods that are used for sowing the seeds. I'm sure one you all would have seen is by scattering the seeds in the field by hand, which is a manual method where the farmer goes into the field and scatters the seeds in the field. This method is called as broadcasting. This method is used in case of wheat. Seeds sown by this method are unevenly distributed in the field. The second method that is being used here is by using seed drills. Seeds can also be sown by using a simple implement or a simple machine called as a seed drill. Seeds sown with a seed drill are evenly distributed and they are at proper distance with each other and they reach at the right depth. So that's what is a seed drill that helps the farmer to sow the seeds at proper distance and evenly. Also, the seed drill helps the seed to get sown in the right depth of the soil. So these were the two methods of sowing seeds. Seed drill we can see here on the screen. This is a seed drill which consists of 5 to 6 long vertical pipes with a funnel at the top. The drill is attached to a plough. It may be driven by bullocks or by a tractor. Yes, so through that funnel the seeds are passed and through the vertical pipes the seeds get sown into the soil. That was all about for today's class. We have studied about the two basic agricultural practices followed by farmers, that is preparation of soil and sowing of seeds, children. Also, we have studied about the category we have studied the crops, how they are categorized based upon the crop product obtained and based upon the season. Please go through the textbook thoroughly, read it. I'm sure you all would be able to connect or to relate with the chapter. If you have any queries, please WhatsApp me your questions or we can also discuss those questions in the Zoom class. For your better understanding, YouTube links are also being sent along with the video. Please go through them. And a PDF is being sent along with the video with the question answers related to the topics. You will make a note of all these question answers in your science notebooks. So enjoy e-learning and have a nice day ahead. Thank you.